Hello again. You're joining us on this edition of Business at 9. We're tracking the big story on the full impact of Trump's policy play as far as trade is concerned. And those tariffs are really rattling the markets. There's no taking away from that. And even as nations across the world, including India, grappling with the implication and the full impact of the reciprocal tariffs unleashed by the Trump administration, how are Indian exporters planning to take this on? To be able to answer that question, Pankaj Chadha is joining us. He's the chairman of the Engineering Exports Promotion Council of India. Mr. Chadha, good to have you with us. Do tell us, because this is an important piece for exporters to be able to take this on as a challenge, the reciprocal tariff imposed by the Trump administration. The belief is that it will significantly impact our exports, but to what extent are these impacts likely to play out across sectors? Mr. Chadha.
See, it's like this. Our total engineering export to USA is $20 billion. Out of that, $5 billion was impacted on 12th of March. That was Chapter 72, 73, and 76. In that was covered about $5 billion. Chapter 72 was steel. Chapter 73 was products of steel. And Chapter 76 was aluminium. Chapter 73 was $3 billion, which was sitting mainly in the MSME sector. So definitely that has had a major impact on us as far as the MSME sector is concerned. Now, the reciprocal tariff has come in, which has impacted the balance $15 billion. In total, that $15 billion had zero duty and now come up straight from 0 to 27%. We estimate about a shortfall in the first year of about $4 to $5 billion of export. This is what we think.
Right. But Mr. Chadha, I understand that the Department of Commerce has been engaging with exporters. They've had discussion with all the stakeholders. Do tell us about the kind of suggestions, the kind of feedback that is going across to the government from your side, and the immediate measures perhaps that exporters are exploring to be able to mitigate all the risks, the challenge that is coming through because of this impact on the tariffs front.
See, basically, as far as the government is asking us the impact, we have given them the impact. This is $4 to $5 billion is where we are. And the government has asked us, okay, what can we do? So we have given our wish list to the government. Basically, we have 4 wish lists to the government. One was, I said, from the MSME sector, because we have 50% of export from engineering is in the MSME sector. So we have said that basically the interest equalization scheme should be reintroduced, which was not renewed after 31/12/2025, 2024. So therefore, we have asked for that reintroduction of the interest equalization scheme so that our MSMEs are borrowing at the same rate of interest as their foreign competitors. Second, we have asked for basically is that since now we have to de-risk our market and go not sell to other countries like Latin America, Central America. So we need to carry our MSME exporters to these countries, display brand India to these smaller countries. So we have said for the reintroduction of the MAI scheme, wherein we can travel, take reverse bilateral meets, exhibitions to these Latin American, Central American countries, so that our MSMEs can sell material to them and sort of shift their focus from the US market. The third we have said is that we will also have to explore the West Africa and the North Africa region to again try and sell. And there one of the biggest risks is of payment. So we have requested that ECGC take a more liberal view in sanctioning or underwriting credit to West Africa and North Africa, so that we can again de-risk from USA to at least shift a part of our sales to these nations. And lastly, the fourth point we have asked the government is that if it's possible that they should be actively pursuing an FTA with the EU as well as with Chile, Peru, and Mexico, and try and get some sort of a duty-free access to these nations which have fairly potential demand for Indian engineering products. So then at least we can sort of, the gap that will arise due to the shortfall in exports to USA can be sort of mitigated by selling to these four regions. One, EU, and LAC, basically Chile, Peru, and Mexico.
Mr. Chadha, since you're talking so much about the exploration and the diversification of the export markets of India, tell us about any kind of optimism, any kind of positivity that you understand that can help exporters in this entire huge tariff episode. For instance, this China and Vietnam angle. Both these countries, they have higher tariffs, higher than India for sure, and therein lies an opportunity that the media reports have been talking about. Tell us how you see it.
See, the positive in this is that not only do we have duty, others also have duty. So we have EU with 20%, Korea with 24%, Japan with 75%. So everybody is around that same mark. So our point of view is from a positive angle, I think we can have a situation where we will try and find some solution. And Indians are very ingenious in finding solutions and try and find our way around and try and see that we can make the best of what the situation is. We will have to compete with the Japanese, the Koreans, EU, and the luck factor is that the maximum duty is with China, which would be a very difficult competitor to beat. So I think from a brighter aspect, since China has the higher duty and the other major nations, exporting nations have similar duty levels, maybe India may get some share of their market. So let's view it in that angle and treat it positively.
Yes, Mr. Chadha, when you talk about Indian ingenuity, that's definitely going to be a call to order when it comes to this major challenge that has been brought up by the Trump administration. And of course, it's something that we are hoping and rooting for as well, because as much of as it is a challenge, it is an opportunity for exporters to exploit. We will keep checking in with you about the progress that is made. But thanks very much for joining us with your perspective on this edition of Business at 9. In fact,